What's up, guys and gals? Red Icing Guy back again. Yep, that means more Persona 5 info. Now before I start, I need to state my thanks to the community for helping and stating their own respective opinions and theories. It has been a big help, and thanks to a certain researcher, this video is possible. I don't deserve or take credit for the information in this video. This researcher, also known as Pho-Sizzle on Reddit, has some amazing information, and not all of it is used here. So if you have time, be sure to check it out. He receives all the credit for this video, and I cannot be any more thankful to him. I will leave links in the description for anyone who wishes to look up the information themselves. Thanks again for giving me permission to use your material. So now that the crediting portion is out of the way, let's get into his information. First off, there is a huge thing I didn't even think of that helps theorists out. At the start of Persona 3 and 4, the main character gets off the train and the ads and news reports are everywhere. These ads and locations foreshadow the characters that will be introduced later and also important story information. It just so happens these ads are everywhere in Persona 5. Not just in the opening sequence, but also randomly around town. As translated by Pho-Sizzle, these ads and news reports have possibly given us the boss identities. The general theme of the bosses is people allowed to get away with crimes and injustices. Here is a list of the possible bosses, probably including one red herring since it's Atlas. An article on a murder case, suggesting a murderer. Indiscriminate street violence by a singular unknown perpetrator. Bullies are becoming more abundant and people are turning a blind eye to them. A scam artist stealing money from older people, and another group of scam artists involving buyers and sellers in a lottery, which after conversing with Pho-Sizzle, it is actually quite possible that this is linked to a Yakuza operation with the whole loan shark, racketeering, gambling. This might explain the casino dungeon as a front for organized crime, especially considering the real-life equivalents. Police making false evidence to frame someone, or not doing their job, and this leads all the way up to the higher-ups, possibly a police chief or a judge. Then we have a celebrity avoiding their taxes, and lastly, a politician abusing his position. At the end of the article, there is also information about random people becoming unexpectedly violent. One is a car driver who plowed his car into traffic, and we have seen further evidence of that in the subway driver scene. Thanks again to Pho-Sizzle, who translated that the stalker boss that we theorize is involved with Anne in some way is a coach, not a top athlete like I thought. In the translation, the coach feels like the school is his castle, and he is the king. This explains why the palace dungeon is actually the school after a transformation, and why the boss has a crown. But that's not all. Thanks to a suggestion by Francis Illigan, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, here in one of the pictures of Ryuji's Famitsu scan could be a preview of the first boss pre-transformation. After consulting again with Pho-Sizzle, this seems likely. Pho-Sizzle then helps further by explaining the background of Yusuke a little bit more in detail. He translates that Yusuke is in trouble since his mentor, Madame, is either plagiarizing his art, plagiarizing the art of others, and or forcing Yusuke to plagiarize other people's art. Yusuke is described as shy and never outspoken before he meets the team. So he doesn't stand up for himself, and this further explains why his mask is the mask of a fox. In the scene outside of the art gallery dungeon, the van the party jumps on top of has words indicating Madame's exhibition. Could Madame, or a pissed off rival, be the boss of that dungeon? Could the art museum transform like the palace did, creating an ideal environment for the boss? Could these random security guards be working in the museum and succumbed to its influence? I don't know, but we can speculate that. Either way, the date in the corner suggests that the art gallery is the second dungeon, as it is 1 month after the first dungeon. This further connects Yusuke as he will be the 5th member after Anne joins. First dungeon Anne is connected to, then the dungeon Yusuke is connected to. As an added bonus for those who didn't keep a keen eye on the trailer, this scene right here may depict the boss from the art gallery dungeon. It makes sense, and the color palette is the same. Moving on, the theme of Persona 5 is not thieves stealing what they want and getting away with it as originally thought. The theme, as researched now by many theorists, seems to be anti-authoritarian characters who want to fight corruption and take justice into their own hands, all while being hunted by a mysterious force. This mysterious force is not as surprising as you would think, since there is probably an otherworldly entity that is taking advantage of the situation society is currently in, and thieves are also often hunted down because they're criminals. When the main characters begin to interfere with this entity's plans, of course it's going to target them, as well as those around them, to stop them. We can successfully predict that this unknown force is probably, and I say probably, the final boss. Well, that's all for now. Again, I must ask, do you have any questions? Because I like answering them. Am I blatantly wrong somewhere in this? Because I will need to post corrections. Do you have any theories of your own? I like reading them. Is there any other similarities you noticed like this in the last games? If you found this video interesting, be sure to check out Pho-Sizzle's Reddit articles. And I highly recommend you visit his articles because they have helped me out so much. Next week's video will be about how Persona 5 is the baby of Persona 3 and 4 in a lot of ways. Hopefully, I can also get the frequently asked questions video and community correction video up soon. Thanks again for watching, and I cannot think of a closer, so goodbye.